to be able to deal with these absolute monsters of karts. So they should be okay. Look at honestly, every time I do this commentary for Whilton Mill, it amazes me. On the dirt, and just behind Alfie Briggs in fourth, a new personal best lap of the race, a 46.3, nearly a second, or over a second faster than Riley Brown on that last lap. So chasing down that gap, only about 4.5 seconds to go, but only around sort of 1.5 seconds from that group of three at the front to fourth, and then
basically the front three obviously fight. The easier it is going to be for Alfie Briggs and the 147 to maybe catch up. But if they sort of sort themselves out, then there's absolutely no reason why the top three won't stay the way they are.
Position now for Jake, so Jessica White moves up into the lead, then Riley Brown there in second. Down the inside into Christmas goes the 147, that's Alfie Briggs on the 53 of Riley Brown. So up into second place goes Alfie Briggs. So sorry to jump over you there, mate, but wow, we've lost the race leader.
Jessica White still leading the way from Alfie Briggs. Then Riley Brown has actually dropped down to third again. So Alfie Briggs, who was in fourth place, remember, we said that he was potentially catching or potentially not catching, but he has caught and he's overtaken and gotten himself into second. Freddie Ingram is overtaken.
He's putting in a good battle here, isn't he? He's certainly not let the pressure off. Here we look back to the leaders, though. This is Jess White, and might lose the position already immediately as we look over. That was some great producing work from Luke Austin there. Just catches the change for the lead as we see Alfie Briggs moving up. Moves defensive into the boot. Knows there's to cover that off, does Alfie. Just looking for the undercut on exit, but it's not going to happen. So just less than 1 minute to go now. We should be getting 2, if not 3 more laps here at Whilton Mill for our first heat of the day, at least in our Junior Max cars. And Alfie Briggs now moving up into the lead past Jess White. Can Jess have any comebacks to that? I guess we're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's typical, isn't it? Typical karting. I said they spread themselves out somewhat, and then half a lap later, there's a lunge for the race lead. And I don't know if there was something. I mean, Jessica White was quite far ahead. I don't know if there was a mistake in there potentially that we didn't quite catch. But Alfie Briggs really taking advantage of a few other drivers, and very, very quick as well, to be fair. I mean, on that last lap, Jessica White was 0.6 of a second down on the drivers around her, which is a massive margin, almost a full second down on Freddie Ingram, who's in fourth place. And that's not the kind of speed that we've seen from Jessica so far in this race, which makes me think that it must have been a little bit of a mistake, maybe a misbraking, maybe an apex being missed or something.
Yeah, possibly. I think you might be right there. Well, she's just put in her own personal best on that last lap while she's chasing. A 45.99. Zaki, Jake, and then David Martial also behind. But here's our battle for the lead. Look at this. Moves over to the inside to cover off. Does the 147 of Alfie Briggs. She's going to try and switch it back. Is Jess, but going to just bump the rear bumper of Alfie. Alfie's going to be able to cover her off and take the win in Heat 2. Just about. What a good exit from Jess there. But Alfie just able to hold her off. So Alfie Briggs taking P1 in that one, followed by Jessica White in P2. Freddie Ingram alongside George Spilsbury. Then it's Jensen Weston, George Allen, Joe Garraway, and Thomas Behrman. Behind them, it's Ronnie Shrimpton in 7th, Zaki Hussein in 8th, Ross Tyler in 9th, and Jessica White rounding out the top 10. They're followed by Alfie Thompson and Bobby Roger. Then it's Jack Howarth in the unlucky number 13 spot, then Alfie Briggs alongside him, Spencer Brom just behind, then Ewan Thomas, Harrison Morrow, and Callum Goff. Then it's Artie Thacker and Alfie Rich rounding out the top 20, followed by Josh Cook, Amelia Pennington, Ollie Ward, and Zane Khan. Aaron Cheddar, then Yaba Al-Saba, then it's Ramarion Ubi and David Martial. That's the double triple three that we were thinking of earlier that we couldn't remember the name of. It was, of course, David. Then it's Nicholas Ellis and Caden.
Just trying to keep an eye out. I don't know whether I read out the wrong result. No, there we go. Alfie Briggs currently in 12th place, winner of race number 1. Actually, he's just gone up to the 10th. So Alfie into the top 10. It's the 147 car that you'll probably end up seeing. In fact, there we go. He was launching himself over the curbs and launching himself up the inside at Christmas Corner on the 102 Jake Howarth, who I believe is one of the drivers that we spoke about quite a lot earlier on as well. So there we go. Making moves is Alfie Briggs.
Indeed he is. Moving up to 9. Who is that on my timing? That's Alfie Thompson, down at the lower end of the top 10, just getting pushed out slightly. And there we see the 147 of Alfie Briggs continuing to press on. Another move he makes. That was on the 33 of Jensen Weston. That means that order must have really changed from that last lap. It has indeed. So I'll round you out the top 10 again of the 147, sorry, of Alfie Briggs making another move there on Thomas Behrman this time. Up into 5th place goes Briggs.
No messing around today, as he's got intentions going forward and he's showing them. Ray, just having a look. Pretty quick. In fact, actually, sorry, it's not Ray. The reason why I was quite surprised is the fact I saw a driver, which I thought was Ray, very close. It absolutely is. It's Garraway, Joe Garraway, 58, currently in second place. William Ray is well away with the Fairies, 3.4 seconds the gap for them at the moment in the race lead. Probably the biggest gap for the race lead that we've seen all day and in any category.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. He's done a brilliant job just leading it out from the front, and he's doing very well. Just did a couple of moves. That was a late one down the inside, looking like the 33 could switch it back there. So this is slightly further down the order, I think, than we were looking at previously.
Yeah, but just outside the top 10,
just
actually.
Outside of the top 10. Indeed, you are right. But yeah, we'll continue watching this one. I had a thought then, but the thought has escaped me, so I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Well, it's a good thing, because the number 83 in that fight just outside the top 10. In fact, it's not even the top 15. That's Alfie Richard in the 83, trying to make some kind of move. And there is the 147 of Alfie Briggs, hunting down Thomas Behrman. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for Behrman to hold him off, I think. Alan just behind, and I think Alfie Briggs did get past Thomas Behrman.
I think you're right, yeah. Briggs still with the fastest lap of the race, a 46.05. Only person dropping into the 46 zeros at the moment anyway. But yeah, as you say, gets out front. Briggs now the first driver to drop down into the 45.95 for him. But actually a lot of drivers now dropping down. Spencer Broham in 8th with a 45.90 that last time around. So then becomes the fastest lap of the race. Holder of such a prestige. And there we go, down the inside goes someone else again. I think that was Briggs. I want to say it was indeed the 147 of Briggs, so that was on George Allen. Up into 4th place goes Briggs, and this battle continues. These drivers now accepting first is probably gone. However, Jessica White just started to pull out.
You can see why. You get the slipstream, you get the run all the way up the hill, and then a big braking opportunity, and it's a quick sort of for such a sharp hairpin, sharp corner. It's really quite quick to get on the exit of it, actually. Alfie Briggs is sending it so. That's the latest, one of the latest moves that we've seen so far today. Really good manoeuvre by him to get up past the 58 of Garraway and onto the podium.
Alfie Briggs is really sending it, moving his way up through the order well. And Alfie Briggs has now made it up into 3rd, so where can Spencer make it up?
The checker flag has flown in the face of William Ray as Jessica White comes over in 2nd place, and Alfie Briggs gets himself onto the podium.
Yeah, what a great ending there. You were right, it was Alan. So, yeah.
Coming up. Hopefully in a couple of seconds time. There we go, the Junior Max Heat 4 on pole position, Arjun Cheddar with Darwin Mazal in 2nd place. Row 2, Romarian Ubi and Yeber Al Sabah. Row 3, Ewan Thomas and Callum Gosh. Row 4, Freddie Ingram and Mitchell Mulvey. Row 5, Oliver Kerr and Ollie Ward. Row 6, James Tester and Josh Cook. Row 7, Arthur Thacker and Thomas Behrman. Row 8, Joe Garraway and Riley Brown. Row 9, Zaki Hussein and Alfie Briggs. Row 10, Alfie Bray and Jake Howarth. Row 11, William Pemble and Alfie Thompson. Row 12 being Archie Buttle and William Ray. Row 13, George Spilsbury and George Allen. And row 14 and 27th place is Jensen Weston. Now, you eagle-eyed...
This is all going to change. We've got another move going on. That's the 147 down the inside. That's Alfie Briggs, someone we saw coming through the pack earlier. He's doing it again today. So watching out for.
Alfie Briggs has actually moved up 3 positions on that previous lap. He went from about 7th up to 4th, so really means business, and I'm sure he'll be trying to chase down the likes of Freddie Ingram, who's gotten a nice, healthy lead. Obviously, that was split grids, different drivers now, really. 147, that is Alfie Briggs going through on Darwin Marzal. That's for 3rd place, so all of a sudden we're getting a very different look at the podium positions for the time being. Freddie Ingram, Ewan Thomas and Alfie Briggs at the top 3.
Interesting that our 2nd, 3rd and 4th place drivers are actually going faster on a lap-by-lap basis over the leader now. However, Freddie has got so far ahead, I don't even think with working together nicely, they're even really going to be able to catch that gap up.
A little bit nervous, I would say. A couple of drivers that aren't nervous at all. Alfie Briggs got on past on Ewan Thomas. That is the 5 per second, and then we wait.
So the actual gaggle has stayed kind of with the same people, but they've been kind of just dropping slowly back down the order in this huge pack. So it's dropped from maybe, I think the leader of the pack was around 4th or 5th previously. Close now, 0.6 from Ingen to Briggs, and then another 0.4 back to Thomas. I think this is them, isn't it, our top 3 drivers? It is indeed, the 76 leading the 147, leading the 11. So let's see how this one plays out. 1.5 laps to go. Ingram's been doing a great job out there in the lead, just putting in good pace and holding them off. But Briggs, he's absolutely flying.
Yeah, well, the problem that Freddie Ingram has, I was about to say that his last lap wasn't as good as it needs to be, but it was only 0.04 of a second off his best lap time, which just goes to show that he's consistent. Might not be consistently quick enough. If the last lap ball gets held out, that is like a red flag to a bull for Alfie Briggs, isn't it, at this point? Look at the speed. He comes off turn 1 and 2 then. Going up to Christmas corner, he's not able to go around the outside, but look at his kart positioning.
Nice.
He's putting it all over the place. He's just trying everything.
Yes.
There we go, a lovely cutback manoeuvre. We saw it in the cadets a little bit earlier on, a similar style thing, but that was amplified there by Alfie Briggs. That's a driver who knows where he needs to put the kart. Ewan Thomas thinking, there's an opportunity here. I can try and fly this one up the inside and see what happens. Maybe Freddie Ingram gives it up. Maybe he ends up trying to go for a race victory. I think it's Alfie Briggs to lose at this point, with only 2 corners left on the last lap here at the Heat 4 of the Junior Maxes. It's going to be Alfie Briggs to take the checkered flag, with Freddie Ingram just about holding on to second place, followed by Ewan Thomas, who did all he could, but it wasn't quite good enough to move on to the second step of the podium. William Ray in 4th, and Joe Garraway round out the top 5. Who's doing what in that midfield, but what we can say is that the front 2 are pretty much as they were and on the grid, and that's Alfie Briggs in the lead with Jessica White in second.
Indeed, it was just kind of a gaggle of colours, isn't it, as it goes through that shot down at Ashby. But yeah, making our way to the end of the first lap. I did see Spencer Brown trying to, as they come across the line to finish lap 1. You are indeed right, it's Alfie Briggs in the lead, Jessica White in second, Freddie Ingram third, Zaki Hussain 4th, then William Ray, Spencer Brown, Joe Garraway, Bobby Rosier, Alfie Thompson and Riley Brown rounds out your top 10. Of course, Spencer Brown going to dive it down the inside at the boot. Well read from Spencer, moves up another position. He's moving up through nicely through this race. Spencer, one to watch up there at the apex. Not sure if they made it out okay. Looks like they have. No one off in the grass, so yeah, definitely made out okay. But whether he gained the position or not, can't really tell just yet. But Alfie Briggs seems to be kind of storming away with this one, doesn't he?
Inside of Zaki Hussain, and again, that's a move for 5th position to the top 12.
Yeah, I mean, we don't mind this because Alfie Briggs is not going to be happy about this at all. He was leading very comfortably. It was sort of up to almost a second, I think it was, by the time the full course yellow came out, and he was loving life. He had no care in the world out there in the lead, but now Jessica White right back on his rear end again.
Yeah, and it's almost a second opportunity for Jessica White to get it right, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
And
She's got to grab this.
Yes, absolutely.
Grab this.
Absolutely, because, maybe it's clear that it doesn't have the ultimate pace. Alfie Briggs is very quick.
He is.
But if White can get their nose ahead, then that doesn't mean that Alfie Briggs is going to find it easy to get on past. Just because you have the pace doesn't mean that you can do that. And we've seen it before with other races and other finals already today, that if Jessica White does get ahead and break away, but by the looks of it, we're going to go green, and Alfie Briggs has got a good start.
Yes, we are.
So it's a good start by Alfie Briggs. Jess White is probably quite a little bit closer than she once was. And going into Christmas corner, this potentially is the only opportunity she's going to get. She's probably aware of that as they hit the brakes at pretty much the same point. She's not able to make the move just yet.
To go on this one. Still Alfie Briggs leading this one. Jessica White still on the rear end, has not been dropped. But yeah, to see if the CRG driver, Spencer Brown, again, another person we said had some brilliant pace around here at Whilton Mill. See if he can stay on the back of those two and sort of push Jessica White along to keep with Alfie Briggs.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Jessica's actually closer than she was previously. And there we go, there's the intention. There's a little bit of a load in there as well. She's trying to push Alfie Briggs into a mistake there, and wasn't quite all the way up the inside, pushed him through. But that is intense if ever I have seen it, by Jess White not being pushed about. Get out of the way, Alfie Briggs. Get into my slipstream for once, and let's see how you can handle getting through me.
She wants it, doesn't she? Jess smells blood. every opportunity. She's just diving for it. She's looking for it here into the boot again, and Alfie knows it. Move to the inside to cover off. This is going to allow for Spencer, Freddie, and Williams to all get involved as they do. Tries to get it down the inside to Spencer. Not quite happening, jumping at that one a little bit too much. We've now got first to sixth in a queue, all the way down to Bobby Rozier now as well. So a number of big names getting involved in this battle, and this could really go anyone's way. We're just going to have to see how it unfolds with the aggressiveness. Down the inside goes the 65, though. Spencer Brown squeezes past Jessica White. He said, Jessica, you've taken a long enough time to try and make this move stick now. I'm going to go for it. This now sat behind Alfie Briggs.
Just get the impression if Spencer was just a little bit more patient and he just let, I mean, Jessica had clearly shown the intent. She'd shown so much forcefulness to try and get through Alfie Briggs. Spencer sort of, has he got the pace? Has he got that same intent? He's just trying to get away with Alfie Briggs. Well, Alfie Briggs doesn't need a second invitation. If you let him take his racing line, that's what's going to happen. Spencer looking at the inside, but again, it doesn't feel quite as much like he wants to get past and he wants to disrupt it as much as Jessica did. So from a spectator's perspective, it's almost a bit of a shame. Yeah, there we go. Brown telling Alfie to get gone. He wants a second place minimum. That's all he really cares about. A contact warning with Spencer Brown. With number 65 cards, and it doesn't mean any kind of penalty just yet, but he has been more. Looks like a little bit wide there from Briggs. Brown again getting a decent exit. I don't think I gave him enough credit, to be honest. He's really stuck with Alfie Briggs. I do apologise, Spencer Brown. It just didn't look like at the beginning of this race that he quite had the ultimate pace, but it proved me wrong here because you're pulling away from a lot of other drivers. And also, tell you what, with a minute to go, not been dropped enough to say that there isn't a potential move for the last lap here, you know?
No, for sure, as there's another move.
I thought it was only one.
It's three. I think third one is a penalty, that's what I want to say.
Oh, he's going to the inside though, and he was risking a little bit of a penalty there, actually, I thought. But he's loading up to the back of Alfie Briggs. All of a sudden he realises William Ray is in to have a word about this, and he wants to get gone. He wants to get through as we go on to the final lap of the race.
That could really affect things there. William Ray collected the rear end of Spencer, exiting the last corner. That slowed them both down. It's going to mean that Briggs is not going to have to go to defensive. Brougham has for second place. He knows Ray is a big threat here, and I thought this could have been a 3-0 battle for first, but I think that tiny bit of contact has allowed for Briggs just to get away enough on this last lap. And look at that, the pack behind closing in just as fast, but sadly on the last lap already, so I don't think they're going to be able to get too involved. But yeah, it looks like that bit of contact might have just eked out enough of gap between these three to mean that Alfie isn't going to be challenged too much through the boot here. They enter the left-hander into the right. But Alfie, to be fair, has kept his head so pure during this race, and what a race he's had to take the win in the Junior Max A final. Shout out to Alfie Briggs. What a win there. Spencer Brown coming through the pack to finish second. William Ray there in third with great